Center Bellevue for hosting us today. It's always good to be here. No one reached out for a public comment on today's action item, so we'll move on into the agenda. Item number 3, which is approval of the minutes from the April 17th meeting. You should find it in your binders. You should have them before you.
Motion for approval?
It's been moved that we approve. Is there a second? Any discussion or corrections? If not, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposers, nay. The minutes are approved. At this time, I'll recognize our Executive Director, Fognerson, to give her report.
Hey, good morning. Good morning, board. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. It is good to be at Ford Eye Center in Bellevue. We don't get out here too much, so we really appreciate everyone's hospitality, and it's good to be here. You have a copy of the agenda following my report. We will have the Personnel Committee report from Vice Chair Duncan, and we'll bring a recommendation from the committee. The board will also be asked to consider a resolution approving a restated agreement to, you can't hear me? Is that any better? Oh, yes, okay. Keep the mic close. The board will be asked to consider a resolution approving a restated agreement to the Nashville Downtown Partnership Contract. And then finally, we'll have the Titans Stadium update and the Predators and Ford Ice Center host facility report. Any questions about the agenda? Okay. So there are a couple of efforts that my team's been working on over the last few months that I want to share with you, but I'm just going to touch on one this morning. And that's really our effort to build relationships, to get to know and better understand our sports authority colleagues across the country. And this is something that we've been wanting to do for some time. And Melissa has been really integral to this effort. We've met with the sports authority heads in Raleigh and in Houston and Chicago. We've got meetings scheduled with the directors in Baltimore and Minnesota, and also with the Olympic Regional Development Authority in Lake Placid, New York. And so we're really just trying to get a real understanding of how those authorities function, what their structure is, and it's been really insightful. And, you know, like us, I think they all agree that we're very siloed. I mean, this is a real interesting, I think, kind of subsection of the whole sports ecosystem. And I think I've been encouraged because they really seem to want to know what's going on. And so maybe there will be an opportunity for all of us to get together. There seems to be some interest in that. Obviously, somebody has to take the lead, and it seems like the person who starts the conversation ends up taking the lead. So we'll see how that goes, but it's been, I think, really helpful for us. And then finally, I wanted to bring attention to a resolution the Metro Council passed honoring Morgan Price of Fisk University for her second National Collegiate Gymnastics Championship. And I met several of the Fisk gymnasts a couple months ago at the Student-Led Sports Expo. And most of you, hopefully you know that Fisk is the first HBCU gymnastics program, and it's the only collegiate gymnastics program in the state. And so we're proud of what they're doing, and they are really interested in the Sports Authority. And so I appreciate the Metro Council for honoring her. If there are no other questions, that concludes my report.
Okay, there is a question.
Monica, the sister organizations that you're now in contact with, how many of them are structured similarly? And I guess that's a larger question. Like, what percentage of the ones that you're aware of are landlord sort of organizations versus operators?
So Raleigh functions very similarly to us. Chicago, and you know, there are obviously multiple venues there, but the ownership is different. And so the head that we spoke with, they have the White Sox, but they function kind of similarly to us too. Small staff of 4, but they are doing, I think, more of the maintenance than what we do. Houston was very interesting as well because there are so many facilities in Houston, but the authority oversees 4. And a lot of the similar responsibilities that we do, but they also now have taken on a lot of the bidding and marketing. So in some ways they function like the sports council, so it's kind of a mix and a hybrid. So I think we're seeing that from what we've read and from the conversations we've had. No two are exactly alike. There are a lot that function like we do. There are some who are a hybrid, some who have convention centers. It just depends on the city.
And one follow-up, the comparable cities that you've talked to, about how many facilities are they managing?
So
Is it across the board, just all over the place?
So the ones that we've spoken with so far, I mean, in Chicago was one, Raleigh was one, Houston, like I said, the Sports Authority oversees 4, although they have relationships with the other ones. And so it just depends. Some will have several, some will have one, and maybe they do everything for that one. But we're still, I mean, we really are still learning and exploring and doing our research, and we'll have more information to report back as we have additional conversations.
Great, thank you.
Any other questions or comments for Monica? And Monica, I would assume that they're probably a lot like Nashville in that it's an evolution. You know, there was one, then there was 2, 3, 4, and they keep coming. So
it was really an interesting conversation. Houston may or may not have mentioned how things changed when a certain NFL team left the city and said they didn't want to talk about that one anymore. But it was good.
okay, great. Thank you. Okay, the next agenda item will be the Personnel Committee report, and we're going to ask our Vice Chair, Jad Duncan, if he will give us that report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Personnel Committee met on Monday, May the 12th, 2025, this past Monday. During the meeting, we approved the April 8th meeting minutes, and Chair Bender led the Executive Director's annual evaluation. The committee was given the opportunity to ask Monica questions and to discuss and rate her performance. The committee gave our director excellent ratings. We should underline that. And we are highly satisfied with her performance and also that of her staff as well. Next, the committee reviewed and discussed updates and revisions to the executive director's job description. A draft of the updated description should be in all of your binders, all of the chairperson's binders. We will provide Metro HR a copy of the final when that is approved by the board. To the directors, do we have any questions? If not, the Personnel Committee recommends approval of the job description, and I move for adoption as such.
Great. There's a motion to approve the revised Executive Director's job description. It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion, any questions, any comments? If not, all in favor of approval, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposers, nay. And the revisions are passed. Thank you.
Yes.
Please continue.
Yes.
Chair Duncan?
Yeah. Further, the Personnel Committee also discussed adjustments to the Executive Director's salary and contract, but at that time deferred any recommendations until the committee's, our committee, the Personnel Committee's next meeting. Finally, the committee discussed funding authorization for staff and board professional development. Staff recommends that the department budget for professional development not exceed $20,000. Those funds would be used for conference registration and travel, as well as classes, professional memberships, lunch and learn sessions for the board. The Personnel Committee recommends approval. The resolution will go before the Finance Committee at its next meeting. So with that, Madam Chair, if there are no questions or anything else, that concludes my report.
Great. Thank you so much. Any comments? Thank you. The next agenda item is consider approval of a resolution approving the third amended and restated agreement between the Sports Authority and the Downtown Partnership. So, Monica, we're going to ask you to kick us off with that conversation.
Okay, thank you. You can find the supporting documents behind tab 5 in your binders. So as you all know, we have a very long-term relationship, almost 22 years with the Nashville Downtown Partnership. Our current agreement is for a 1-year extension. You'll remember that They came to us last year. You extended the contract. We understand the complexities around the stadium and the lots. It also authorizes the partnership to use parking lot F and R for daily shuttle operations and special event parking and shuttling, and that's free of charge. The proposed resolution in front of you adds Lot E and extends the agreement for another 12 months with a 30-day termination option. And that's because we just, it's evolving out there. The shuttle operations take place in Lot R, and that's for the downtown workers and shuttles. They are continuing to shuttle to Bridgestone Arena for Preds games. Shuttle operations in, the use of Lot E, and then Lot F is where Metro employees continue to park. Okay, so Lot E is what we're adding for this new restated agreement. And again, the agreement, the resolution is in your binders. There's also a map, which sometimes is just helpful if you want to take a look. There's also a Metro route. And Jack and Gabe from the Downtown Partnership are here. Do you want to come up and just kind of give us an update of what the last year has looked like for you all and moving forward, what we can expect?
Yeah, sure. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
I'm Jack Malone, Director of Transportation for the Nashville Downtown Partnership. The last year, we've basically had averaging about 1,000 monthly subscribers per month. We shuttle from E, F, and R on 3 public routes during the day, and then as well, we do the beep services at night. It's a great public benefit. It allows us to activate this public asset to basically promote and just help revitalization to downtown. It reduces congestion and pollution. And then, just for example, this last year we had 486,000 passenger trips, which is a big number. Beep events, we served for 37 Preds games last year, which is all but basically 5. And during that time, we shuttled 8,600 people and took 4,800 cars off of downtown streets during those special events. We also served as special event services for 40 events last year as well. And that's for such things such as Tennessee Titans Game Day, ADA services, Metro special requests, playoff and Stanley Cup games, of course. Then what to expect moving forward.
Jack, can you speak up a little bit?
Sorry.
I'm having a hard time hearing. I'm sure the people,
My
the
fault.
audience is hard.
My fault. I'm a little tall. I guess I need to pull this toward me. The big thing for us in the next year is just it's a viable option as we continue to see the return to office for many of the companies still running a hybrid schedule. We've done a downtown employee survey, and generally speaking, 79%. We're at 79% of downtown office occupancy where we were at 2019, which was prior to COVID. So we still got room to grow, and then we're hoping to pick up some more of that growth in this operation.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments?
I have a question.
Yes.
On the presentation, the list of previous and current customers, are these all the list of the 8 entities? Are those all current customers or?
No, it's some of our previous that say, for instance, like a few of those are larger companies that we did private shuttles for prior to COVID, but I was just giving you a list of how we have worked with these companies. And
so it's not inclusive of everyone?
It's not inclusive of current operations, but we, like going along with the theme of economic development, a lot of these companies worked with us and we shuttled for them for multiple years as they got established in downtown. Many times those projects or working with them came out of Metro request, not actually them reaching out to us. It was part of an economic development situation.
And then what are the hours of the service? Did you say?
So our public route, basically we operate out of the stadium on a normal business day from basically 6 to 7 p.m. 6 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Do you get many musicians?
We don't. We've looked at doing nighttime things many a times, and we're always open to it. We would love to make something of that nature happen.
We have music playing all the time, so I thought
Yeah.
might still. I know that's a concern of.
Yeah,
the
we've
downtown
explored
core.
we've explored doing nighttime routes to Broadway before and that kind of thing. It's just gauge interest, and then it seems like the interest isn't there compared to some of the nighttime parking and what the structure and how all that works for those employees and musicians and things. Like for instance, like right now, one of the things the downtown, there's a $10 musician rate that a lot of the parking garages offer. We can't beat operating for that.
And one more question. How about safety?
We have security guards in the lot during the time that we're operating, and then we close the gates afterwards.
So no safety issues in the last.
No.
Thank you. Good. Any other questions or comments? Well, clearly, this has been a long-time partnership, and it has worked well for us and the city and the citizens of Nashville. So with that, I'll thank you for your input, and I will entertain a motion for us to consider approving the third amended and restated agreement between the Sports Authority and the Downtown Partnership.
Move for approval.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. It's been moved and properly seconded. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposes, nay, and the motion passes. Thank you.
Thank y'all very much.
At this time, we will have the Titans DBE update, the new stadium monthly progress report, and host facility report. I have Adolfo Birch, Kellen DeCoste, John Gramos, and Kate Gower. I don't know if we're going to have everybody, but welcome.
we are indeed.
Okay.
We are going to, as usual, thank you as always for giving us the opportunity to share some updates.
And can I ask, since there are four of you, just to give your name?
Oh,
although
sure,
we know
sure.
your names.
We will make sure that happens as well. I'm Adolfo Birch. I'm Chief External and League Affairs Officer for the Titans. Again, thank you for giving us the opportunity to share some updates. I think for this particular month, we want to try to continue with our prior cadence of offering construction updates, and that'll be by Kellen DeCourcy behind me, followed by workforce and participation updates, which would be John Gromos and myself. But we wanted to get through that pretty quickly today because we want to spend some time talking about our call to artists, which is one of the more exciting opportunities that's associated with this project, and one that we think really embodies everything that people think about and were thinking about when this project was conceived and how it would benefit all of Nashville, all of Tennessee. And so we're really excited about this development, and we want to spend a little time talking about it. So if that's okay with everyone, I think we might as well get into it quickly, and I'll bring Kellen up to talk about the construction.
Thank you.
Good morning, board members. Kellen DeCourcy, Project Executive with the Tennessee Titans. So we have another exciting month of updates for you in production on the stadium. I'm not sure how I click forward here. We don't have a drone video this time, but we're going to stick to the traditional still videos. We remain on schedule and on budget, so that's great to report. We continue to track tariffs just like everybody. We're trying to keep our heads straight and learn and monitor and track it, but nothing has come to reality for us on the project. As you can see here, this is a recent aerial drone video or image of the stadium. You can start to see the complete footprint of the building is now in place. We're seeing 1,100 workers on the site daily. We've just eclipsed 1.5 million labor hours on the project. If you'll flip to the next slide here, we also reached an exciting milestone on the project where we completely topped out the concrete decks. So we now have our upper 300 level here, which you can see at the top of the building. That was completely poured out about a week and a half ago. So we are now transitioning to the structural steel roof activities of the project. So that was an exciting milestone that really opens up a lot of doors of additional space to work in the stadium. And if you'll flip to the next slide here, please. Again, this is the northwest corner of the building. You can see we're really focused on the structural steel, getting the roof structure in place. That is the critical path of the project, is getting the ETFE cable net roof structure in and dried in, which we will start to see the first pieces of the ring beam steel show up in early June. If you'll flip to the next slide, please. A lot of work is happening below the structural decks. You'll see here, this is one of our exciting walls where Kate will speak to the graphics and art and branding that will be in the stadium. This is some of the activation walls that we have on the main concourse. And if you'll flip to the next slide, please. Another really exciting milestone happened on Monday this week that we would be remiss not talking about is this is a very large structural steel truss that was set on Monday. It took about 6 hours from getting it off the ground in place and bolted in. You can see it took 2 cranes to lift this piece of steel. It was 290,000 pounds. It took 2 cranes and about 20 iron workers to get in place, but it went in smoothly, and it was really exciting for the project. And if you flip one more slide, please. This is, again, celebrating the topping out here. We had a celebration of the concrete topping out on the concourse of existing Nissan. So that was an exciting event, and we timed that out and conducted that also with our safety week that was celebrated last week. So again, a lot of great work happening on the site, and excited to continue to update you all on this. And if you have any questions on construction, I'm happy to answer those, or we'll transition to Adolfo and John.
Questions, comments?
Thank you. All righty, to turn to our, let's see, where are we? There we go, okay. If we could go to the next slide, if you don't mind. So you should be used to this particular set of information, but I think, what we want to point out is that our numbers continue to grow. Our payments now are at 87.6. So I think, we expect that we'll top 100 probably within the next 2 months. If you look at our sort of rate of growth on that, we've been averaging 7 to 8, 10 million per report per month. So that's excellent. We also are increasing our numbers with respect to the number of firms overall. That's continued to increase. And again, I think the major point of the slide is that we remain on track for our goal and to exceed our goal on the project itself. Based on the project flow, we have every confidence that we'll get there. So if there are any questions about our participation, happy to answer them. Otherwise, I'll turn it over to John to talk about the workforce. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning. John Gromos with Tennessee Builders Alliance. I'm going to cover the same information that I've covered in the past as well, so if we could advance to the next deck, please. Kellen mentioned 1,100 workers is our average count. We're putting in about 60,000 work hours every week. So and that number will continue to grow as our workforce continues to grow as well. These numbers are consistent with what we reported before. We continue to see pretty similar percentage participation across each of these categories. We can go to the next slide. We continue to focus on health and wellness. We unfortunately did have a recordable incident in the month of April. One of our masons was moving some materials from cinder block, and that block slipped, and he pinched the end of his pinky finger, which ended up in a recordable. So we went back to some additional training on material handling, and we'll continue to focus everything we can to prevent those types of issues going forward. We continue to track first aid cases and are very transparent about that. We continue to learn from all of that information. Next slide, please. Oh, I thought I had one more. I just have one other comment. I typically talk about workforce development. We finished cohort number 6 recently. Cohort number 7 will begin in July. We're going to modify that program slightly and extend it from a 3-week program to a 6-week program that will provide some additional certifications for the graduates which we think will even make them more attractive new hires in the future. Any questions?
Yes, John, we have one.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You mentioned you've got an average of 1,100 workers on site weekly and 60,000 hours. So that's roughly 54, 55 hours per worker. Is that normal? This may be an ignorant question in terms of construction. 55 hours is a normal work week?
Yeah, and again, it fluctuates up and down. We're over 1,100 now. That's where we'll start seeing the 60,000. But typically, yes, this workforce, and it's not just on the Titans project, it's just the commercial workforce in general expects to work overtime. They want to work overtime. We don't want that to be too high because there's fatigue and there's issues associated with it. So we try to manage that with crews and work loads to be between 50, but no more than 55 a week. That's correct.
So it doesn't indicate falling behind, trying to catch up?
No, this is, workers want to work on projects where they're to some extent guaranteed overtime.
Understood. Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions? Yes, Monica.
Yes.
Hi, John. Good morning.
Good morning.
Last month you mentioned a summer medals camp for rising juniors and seniors, and so just wanted to get some additional information on that. And have you been successful in getting some students? What has the outreach looked like for that?
I think we called it heavy metal, and Reggie was here last time to talk about that. Unfortunately, I do not have the details of that. I think there was some information in the report that was submitted, but I'll be glad, Monica, to follow up on that for next meeting or even
An
between
update.
then.
We've been having some great conversations with Metro schools and just looking at how do we help provide access to our high school students, and how, as you look at filling the pipeline and for all types of work and even in the business of sports, what does that look like? And
Sure.
so I would love an update on.
Yep, we'll make sure that there's some additional information in the literature next time. Yep.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
So we'd like to now turn to our call to artists, and I neglected to mention earlier, but we'd ask Kate Guerra, our head of communications, to come up and talk to you about this part. She's intricately familiar with it, and we'll hopefully be able to address it and answer all your questions if you have any.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good to see everybody. Two things before I get talking about art. First of all, when I heard that we were conducting a heavy metal camp, not at all what I thought it was about. Not at all what I thought it was about. So I'm excited to learn more about that as well. And I know Deb over at MMPS has been really helpful with Herbert Brown at TBA about getting that camp off the ground. So we'll make sure to get you some more details on that. Also, quickly, that transfer truss that Kellen showed us a picture of, 290,000 pounds. I work in PR, so we're going to round that up to 300,000 pounds. So what I didn't realize is because it takes 2 cranes to raise that truss up, I was just asking John, I said, can the cranes somehow automatically be synced to each other? So as they're raising it, can it go up at the same level? And he told me no, that it is all manual. And so the fact that they were able to raise that truss at a level pace and get it up there, and it fits and it's even and it all happens safely. Maybe I'm a little bit of a nerd about those sort of things, but I think that's really interesting. So congratulations, John, Kellen, everybody to your team for getting that done. So this is a very full circle moment for me. When I first started with the Titans in 2019, I was still finding out, what are the projects and the things that I could be most helpful to as the team sort of looked at their off-the-field story and their off-the-field service. And my leader at the time came to me and he said, hey, we're not doing a lot in the art community. And so could you go out and start making some friends in that community and help us become more engaged in art here in Nashville? Because what we keep hearing from people is that it's something that's important to Nashville. It's something that's important to the Tennessee community. And we don't feel like we're doing a very good job engaging with that community. So could you go out and start making some friends? And thankfully, they did not ask me to draw anything as a qualifier for me being involved in this project, because they would have learned very quickly that I was extremely underqualified to take that task on. But I do like to make friends. And so went out, met so many people. Ellen Pryor at the Frist continues to be a dear friend of mine. Alyssa Beach at the Forge, which is an amazing art collective here in town. We met all of these people. We started working with them on a multitude of projects. We started with a little bit of a happy hour, and then eventually it turned into 2 art shows for the Titans that both raised awareness for local artists here in Nashville, but also raised awareness for the Titans Foundation as well. So those were projects that kind of led from these initial conversations, and to see it culminate in a project as big as this one, as significant as this one, a 2.1 million square foot building that is going to be featuring art from all around Middle Tennessee, is just very special to see that come together. If we could go to the next slide, please. So what the process has been like to this point is we've been working with a consultant. The company is called Rise. This is a company that specializes in stadium art projects. And so this is obviously a massive project, like I mentioned, 2.1 million square feet. And figuring out how to incorporate art into every nook and cranny of that building is quite an undertaking. So Rise is a company that specializes in that type of work. And what we've been doing with them over the past several months is what we call a spots and dots exercise, which, as I saw on people's calendars, was a really funny name to me. And then I learned all of the details that actually go into that, which is they were literally doing 3D walkthroughs of every single hallway, of every single wall, every single corner where there was empty space, and whether that was something that art would go in that space or if that needed to be used for directional signage. They investigated every nook and cranny of the building to figure out how we could map out where art in this building could go. And we started networking with this community of artists here in Nashville, in Middle Tennessee, to ask them for advice on, how should we go about reaching the widest reach of artists that we could possibly reach? What are things that we needed to include in our call to artists to make sure that it was incorporating clear direction, but also a broad scope of work that could get us a wide variety of ideas, a wide variety of artists and art types, as well art mediums, whether that be paintings, statues, a number of different mediums in the art community. And we told them, hey, this call to artists is coming. In the meantime, here's an interest form that you can go ahead and send out to your network. And then when we're ready to launch, we'll let you know. And so we incorporated all of that feedback into our call to artists, which launched about 2 weeks ago now. And so as you can see, we've done a variety of ways letting the community know that this call to artists is now open. We launched a website that is now live, and also did a press release. We sent out emails. We asked for help with the art community networking out to their networks as well, to let them know that this call to artists was open. And then as you can see, we've also taken on some creative ways of advertising this call to artists, which is stencils on sidewalks, banners on building. There's one in my neighborhood in East Nashville that I pass very regularly, and just making sure that we're letting the world know that this call to artists is open, and how focused we are on making sure that local artists have a priority in this opportunity. So getting artists from the Nashville community, from Middle Tennessee, from Tennessee as a whole, is going to be the focus of our outreach. Though we are welcoming in artists from around the world if they do want to be a part of this. The good news is that since we've been open for the past 2 weeks, we've received about, I would say, 50 submissions, and some of those submissions have come from galleries that represent multiple artists, and nearly all of them are local. So we're really eager to continue that local emphasis as well. Next slide, please. So again, the goal is to capture as broad a range of art and artists as possible, because while we do have every nook and cranny of the stadium to fill with art, there are also opportunities that may come up throughout this project where as we're going through the design and furniture process for some of the spaces, maybe instead of shopping out of a catalog, we think about a woodworker who submitted in the call to artists who could help us with our community art program, but could also help us with that table that we're needing for that one space in the stadium. So we're using this both as a method to find artists who could participate in this art project, but also be a part of other ventures in the new stadium as well. But we did want to give them a little bit of direction, and so ultimately we're seeking to make Nissan Stadium a celebration of Nashville, a celebration of Tennessee, full of artistic ideas around the following subjects. So we gave them these four. One of them is celebrating Tennessee culture. So all things Nashville, all things Tennessee, from the history of our state to the people who live in it. We'd also love to see artwork that incorporates specific art relating to the neighborhoods of Nashville. And so getting ideas from people who live in those different pockets who might want to send us ideas on how we could incorporate the different neighborhoods throughout the stadium. And then obviously our team. Our team is an integral part of the stadium, even though it will be used year-round for different opportunities. And so celebrating the game of football in all of its forms, whether that be our team specifically or other ways that football is incorporated into our state and our culture here. And then obviously the stadium itself. There are things in the stadium, whether it be from sustainability to how the stadium is going to be designed, that we feel like art could really play a part in celebrating as well. So the timeline at the bottom here, the call to artists is currently open. It's going to be open for about 2 months, and then this fall, we will contact the artists to let them know that they've been selected. That selection process is going to take place through an art council that we are gathering, which I believe the Sports Authority will have participation on in some way, and also through different art collectives and networkers in town who will help us identify which pieces of art and which artists to select. And then we'll let them know in the fall that they've been selected. We'll work with them for really over a year to make sure that they have the time to develop their piece and develop their ideas. And then once the stadium is dried in, we'd be able to install that art in 2027. Next slide, please. So just to give you an idea of some of the concepts that have been circulating in our heads, but also coming through in some of the submissions that we're seeing. One of the things that we made sure to do was throughout the networking process of getting people to help us spread the word about the call to artists, working with a lot of schools, whether those be high schools, colleges, universities in the area that have art programs, to make sure that student art is incorporated into the building as well. And so we're very excited to have art that will be actually created by student artists. But at the same time, we also want to find ways to celebrate the schools themselves within the art. And so as we're looking at how we're celebrating youth football in our state, girls flag in our state, which has been a huge pillar of our community work over the past several years, is there a way where through some art display in the stadium, we could celebrate every single high school football team represented visually in some way? And we didn't bring those concepts with us, but there have been a few ideas floated around that I've seen, which are, jerseys from every single high school football team, every single girls flag team displayed in the stadium somewhere. And those jerseys are decorated by the art of students who go to those schools. So many unique ideas there on how we can incorporate school and student art. Also, as you've probably seen, some of our early work in the art world through the Titans have been the murals that you've seen around town that celebrate the ties between the Titans and Music City. And so we're excited to continue to explore that concept and find ways to continue to more intricately tie the music community and the Titans through artwork. And the last example I'll show is, if you look at the bottom of the screen here, you'll see one of the plazas that is open to the public year-round that sits outside of the stadium. that also has opportunity for art as well. And so maybe this is an opportunity not just for something to hang, but for something to move, for something for people who can come and enjoy and touch and feel. So that could be digital boards that the community could enjoy year-round on the side of the building. It could also include some sort of sculptural element on the grass that people could walk through, sit on, touch. And so these are the things that we're thinking about as we go through the building. You know, we want to make sure that this art is enjoyed in spaces that won't just be viewed by people who are coming inside the stadium, but obviously all of the public areas around the stadium are a central feature of this building as well. So making sure they're incorporated into our plan too. And I believe that might be our last slide. But ultimately, we're really excited about this project. We're very excited about the response we've received to the call to artists so far, and looking forward to showing you some examples and having you incorporate it into the selection process as well, so we can make sure that we're incorporating a lot of great Nashville and Middle Tennessee artwork into the stadium.
So, Kate.
Yes.
I am particularly excited about the art. I love art, and I love that you all are making it an intricate part of the stadium. You've mentioned that you have taken a lot of avenues to get the word out, the call to artists. How many of the contacts have been diverse artists? There's a huge population of artists in Nashville.
Yes.
And of the 50 or so applications, what do they look like? Are they
Right.
diverse, kind of broad-based?
I haven't identified those 50 in particular, but I do know that in the selection process, that will be extremely important to us, and getting a lot of diverse voices involved in the feedback process when we launched the call to artists, and then also discussed how to spread the word about it, was very important to us. As you guys know, the overall project goal for the stadium in terms of diverse participation is 25%, and we're on track to exceed that goal. And art will play a role in that. And what we're excited about is that a lot of the artists who will be working, that we anticipate will be working on this project, maybe they have certifications that register them as a diverse business. Maybe they don't, and we're not going to require them to get that certification. However, if they simply haven't had the resources to help them get certified at this point, and that's a service that we can provide to them, is helping them get that certification and be able to take full advantage of the benefits that come from being a certified business. That's something that we plan on helping them with as well.
Wonderful. Thank you. Questions?
Hey, Kate, you were talking about outreach. Have you coordinated with the Metro Arts Commission?
We have,
I was
yes.
just looking at their website, and I noticed they actually have a call to, call to artists listed, and I didn't know
Yes.
this project, so.
Yes. No, they were extremely helpful and a big part of helping us spread the word as well. Yeah.
Yes, Director.
Good morning.
Morning.
With a 2.1 million square foot building, you're going to need hundreds. Do you have a sense for how many pieces of art you're going to need?
Not a specific number, because a lot of those, you're right. I mean, it's a huge building, and there's also places where we anticipate not necessarily having creative concept art, but there's also like the walls that Kellen showed earlier. Some of those walls are more like branding walls, right? Where they'll have some sort of Fireball logo, picture of the Titans. And whereas previously, and I'm sure even in some cases in the new stadium, but hopefully we're hoping to limit them, typically we print out a vinyl, wrap a wall, our creative team does it, and they do a great job at it. But how can we even incorporate artists into those areas of the building where, yes, typically they would just be a branding wall, but is there an artist that can help us take a creative spin to what that might look like? So between the branding walls, all of the creative artwork and the community art, and then also directional signage that just needs to go in some of those places as well. It's a huge undertaking, and I assume you're right that there will be hundreds of pieces of art throughout this building.
Which means you're going to want thousands of submissions, right?
And we may even have some artists who are able to create multiple pieces of art as well. And as we're looking at, we've even started to identify certain areas of the building where we might want to tell specific stories depending on what's nearby them and what makes sense. And so if we have a wall on one end that is, this is where we want to tell the history of our team, and we know the measurements of that wall, when we select an artist who will be a part of that storytelling, we'll tell them, okay, the wall is this size and we need your piece of artwork to be 50 inches by 38 inches, and that'll help us start mapping out all of the specific places as well.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Yes, Director Lynn?
Well, my only question would be, could you find a way to sort of police the art? Back during the grand opening of the facility, I believe it was in Las Vegas. I just happened to be riding through the neighborhoods, and there was some art that was kind of misplaced from what they were looking. How would that be policed in this case?
In terms of the selection process and which art gets hung, no, that's a great question. I think what we're hoping to do through this art council, who will be a part of the selection committee that the Sports Authority will have representation on as well, and then through kind of internal checks and balances on our end as well, there won't be a piece of art hung in the stadium or displayed outside of it that wouldn't go through that approval process first. Okay. You're welcome.
Any other final questions or comments? Not, thank you
Great.
so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Very excited. So does that complete the report? Yes. All right. Thank you so much for that update. Lots of moving parts as always. We appreciate the update. The final report is from our host report. And I understand that Kyle Clayton is going to kick us off with that conversation.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for letting us host out here at Bellevue. I know that maybe the audio conditions aren't the best, but it's just a fun, cool environment. See a lot of activity going on the ice right now, so it's just cool to be out here again. Appreciate you guys coming out. Get used to it, too, because we're hosting a lot, I think, over the next couple months. I think we're hosting a Bridgestone next month and then maybe again in August or so. So today we're going to try to be a little bit more brief than usual, just because you're going to hear from us a lot over the next few months. What I would like to talk to you about today, though, is the exciting news that we rolled out just a couple of weeks ago on our future of our Bridgestone Arena transformation project. So we'll pop up that slide. That'd be great. And so what we're really excited about is, this has been a process that we've been going through many, many years, right? So like in 2000, I think it was 17 and 18, we rolled out some images, and even prior to that, we did as well. But just under a month ago, we were fortunate enough to be able to be part of the Sports Business Journal World Congress of Sports, where our chairman, Bill Haslam, was able to use that platform to kind of roll out and get some exciting news out there that we really are going to push forward on this transformation of Bridgestone. And again, the location that we're in, downtown Nashville, we talked about it a million times. We're at the corner of Main and Main, and we want to stay there for a long, long time and continue to invest in that building. So we're super excited to kind of get this image out there and start that process again. From a timeline perspective, we're truly in the conceptual phase, right? Like we put this image out there just to get some buzz and some energy going, and we're really now diving into the overall design and the future use and what this building is going to become at the end of the day. So what you see today is not exactly what's going to happen, obviously, but that is the goal and the opportunity that's before us. A couple of things that I'll call out on that image. Really, when Bridgestone was designed, if you'll recall, opened in 96, it's a fortress, right? Like Broadway's then was not what Broadway is now. So it's a lot of concrete walls today, and we just want to blow those open. Our concourses are kind of tight. We want to make those expand all the way out. So basically going corner to corner on all four sides of the building and expanding those concourses out. So you'll notice it a lot on Broadway. If you think about Broadway on our building today, that used to be a police station, used to be a register of deeds office. Our offices are there. And so it's just not the best use of that real estate. So we want to blow those, the doors off of it, expand all four levels of our concourse all the way out on Broadway and take advantage of that space, whether that's new clubs, whether it's a restaurant, kind of like we have sports, BetMGM Sports Lounge over on Fifth Avenue, concepts like that on Broadway as well. So really just expanding what we're already doing, but taking advantage of all that real estate. There's a miniature tower right there on Broadway too. That envision there is just our offices. That's where we are today, but we want to make sure that we're on site. We think that being cohesive with the entire organization and being on site for the building is very key to our business. So that's what that mini tower is. When you look at the backside of the building, we've talked many times about what are the opportunities to put a tower on that site in some way, shape, or form. I think a previous rendering, we had one on Broadway. This one shows it on Demumbrian. Again, it's just a spatial study of what we could or couldn't do. Could it be condos? Could it be a hotel? I think in the past we've talked about a bowling alley, right? They're just being funny about it. So again, there's a lot of opportunity there. We're still trying to determine what's the best case use of that site, but just showing the opportunities that are able to be done on that site. So again, our goal with this is to make the arena better. We want to make sure that the experience of all of our fans that are coming in for a hockey game or a concert or a convention or whatever it might be has the best experience possible. But the biggest thing we want to make sure you understand is the commitment to that location and to downtown Nashville. And again, we have the greatest building that there is right now. We just want to modernize it and take advantage of all the opportunities that are around us on 5th and Broadway. So next month, when we are at Bridgestone, we'll have a couple more assets we'll show you guys. We have a video that we're producing now that we'll show you during that time. And then on June 30th of every year, we submit our capital asset managed report. And so that'll have some more information as well as we look towards this timeline over the next 3 to 5 years of what this renovation process will look like. So more details will come in that report. And I think we usually review that report in about August or so. So when we host again in that month, we'll show even more detail. From a project team perspective today, I'm happy to share that we have got CAA Icon on this project. So they'll be our owner's rep, much like they were with Geodis and with Nissan Stadium. So excited to have those guys on board. They're the best in the business. If you'll remember, they came a few months ago and helped present the long-term capital needs assessment. So they know our building very well, so we're excited to have them as part of it. And then our longtime architect has been Populous. We're excited that they've drawn this building 700 times. I feel like every project we've done recently, they've been a part of. So they're the producers of this, and so we're happy to have them on board too. So that's our project team as it stands today. We're super excited about the future here. So I'll pause there. I know I said a lot. Happy to answer any questions, but definitely a lot more details to come in the following months.
Questions, comments? It's pretty awesome rendering.
Yeah, again, just a lot of opportunity in that block. We're so excited about it. And again, your partnership in this whole process has been fantastic. And the lease that we created back in 2019 really affords us to do this. The one thing that I should have mentioned and I should have let off with, there'll be no public financing on this. So there will be no question.
Just talking about how this is going to be facilitated, and I'm wondering how disruptive will it be for the events that you have going on at Bridgestone?
Yep, so we'll get into more details later, but the plan right now is, the beauty of it is obviously we're going to enhance the arena bowl itself. And so any of that action will take place during the summer. So the thought right now is during the summers of 27, 28, and 29, that primary bowl work will take place. So obviously hockey season will be safe. We won't do anything during there. CMA awards, SEC tournament, all those obligations will be met. During the summers, there are a chance we'll shut down for a month or 2 or 3 just to make sure that we're able to get a lot of the big work done. So we might miss a few concerts here and there, but we're going to try to compress our concert schedule during the hockey schedule. So hopefully we're not missing too many events, but that's the main goal. The beauty of the way the landscape of that block sits, the items on Broadway and on Demumbrian, those will be outside of the bowl, so that work can be done 365 days a year and not affect our concert schedule or our hockey schedule.
Thank you.
Yes.
The vision that you all have, where are you drawing that from? And I know you spoke of it being modern. So where are you looking into to draw this vision for this?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've had the beauty of doing this drawing about 2 or 3 times. The last one we did was about 18, and then COVID kind of happened, so it kind of paused a lot of stuff. So we've been able to reimagine it a couple times. We obviously have a very strong design team, and with CAA Icon too, that we are really taking inspiration from a lot of other newer buildings that are out there. Little Caesars in Detroit, Intuit Dome in LA was one of the newest ones, UBS in Long Island, but then also just downtown Nashville, right? Like 5th and Broad across the street has done an incredible job with what they've built across the street. And so there's a little bit of mirror image there. But really, at the end of the day, we just want to be authentic to Nashville and be our hometown arena at the end of the day. So we want to be very Nashville-centric, but obviously with the downtown corridor, with the entertainment on Broadway, really blending the fun and excitement and safety of Broadway, but also the coolness feature of Fifth and Broad. But then as you extend Broadway up to the yards, right? We want to be this corridor where we're extending Broadway all the way up and taking advantage of a lot of the activity that's on Sobro with the convention center. So really just trying to fit in this neighborhood, but also modernize the building at the end of the day.
Any other questions? Okay. Well,
All right, cool.
thank you.
So again, we'll have more information next month, show a cool video. We'll have more things as we progress into the summer too, as we update these designs. But for now, I will pass it on to Amy Bratton. She's our Director of Social Impact and Growth, and she's going to give us an update on our Guider initiatives. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning. Might be actually afternoon at this point, but always a privilege to get to do a little bit of celebrating with all of you. I oversee our Guider platform, which I'll remind stands for Growth, Understanding, Inclusion, Diversity, Equality, and Representation. We've been so thrilled with the ways we've been able to grow, and particularly I want to talk about how we've used our games to elevate this platform and really provide representative opportunities. We used 8 of our games this season to extend our Guider platform, to invite out minority communities to feel represented and to be a part of the fun in Nashville. That included, across those 8 games, 38 paid performance opportunities. This season, we were Music City Hockey. That was our theme, and that crossed over into our Music Heritage Series. So you'll see representative, some of the nights that took place throughout the season. The ones with a little music note were part of our Music Heritage Series, which was really fun. Next slide, please. As part of those nights, we had a showcase that was inclusive of those 38 paid performance opportunities, but we commissioned 4 artists to produce music-themed Pred Head logos, which you saw on the first slide. Those artists and that look was what carried over throughout the entire season, and they were placed on jerseys that were signed by our players, so they were included in everything that we did and supportive. And then through our Preds Foundation, we raised about $57,000 that we will give back to the community, and I know Rebecca will definitely be up here to celebrate what that looked like as well. But such a great season. I will continue to argue it was one of our most successful seasons in franchise history because of the ways that we involved our community, how fan-centric we were, and these Music Heritage Nights and the continuation of our Guider platform was certainly a key aspect of that. Next slide, please. A couple other successes that we had in partnerships with local universities. We hosted another Smashville seminar with Tennessee State University in their Humans Performance and Sports Science department. We hosted 22 students. They received 3 college credit hours and were taught by Smashville, by our executive leadership team, our leaders in each department. They received a hands-on game experience, and we really enjoyed continuing that partnership and hope that it will continue to be an annual occurrence with those students. And for the first time, we were on Fisk University's campus. I know Monica mentioned the student-led panel. We were proud to be a sponsor on that event, participate in the panel, participate in the networking, and showcase the job opportunities we have, and hope to continue to grow that relationship with Fisk University. So those are just a few things I wanted to celebrate. I'm happy to take any questions if you have them.
Well, I don't have a question per se, but I do have a comment. I am the head women's basketball coach at Fisk University, and I will say that I had 2 young ladies that are, well, they're graduates now, that were in that event, and I mean, they were ecstatic that they had the opportunity to sit in and learn and listen to different opportunities that could possibly help them. So thank you so much for reaching out to especially my young ladies at Fisk. I guess I am a little biased because I like to see my girls do well, but they were extremely excited about it.
Oh, yes. Well, thank you for saying that. It was student-led, and we happen to have an intern who was part of the driving force, so got to give credit to Alex Brown there. And proud to support it, but also so many of our staff members, when they get to participate in events like the Smashville Seminar and at Fisk, say, this is what I wish I would have had for any student, and so we love to continue to provide those type of opportunities.
Any other questions or comments? I really love the idea that the Smashville with TSU was able to give 3 hours of credit. So that makes it really beneficial, I'd say.
Absolutely. Well, thank you all. I'm happy to turn it over to Jennifer Benecki to talk about youth hockey programming.
Thank you.
Hi, good morning, all. I know we spoke a couple months ago regarding our core program and our Preds and Pixels initiative, but we're excited to talk a little bit about our year-end recap for all things hockey programming here at Fordyce Bellevue and also Fordyce Antioch. So in the 2024-25 season, we've hit a lot of our programs that are pretty consistent. So right now the rink is relatively quiet, but starting at 5 o'clock every weekday through about midnight every night, there's a lot of hustle and bustle here. There are kids that are getting on the ice with their families that are up here in draft picks, all the way to our adult leagues. So it's something we're really proud of. Like I said, this year we've introduced 675 new hockey players to the game of hockey, not only here in Nashville, but also in Clarksville, Huntsville, Alabama, Knoxville, Tennessee, and Atlanta, Georgia. Of that number, 370 are local right here in the middle of Nashville. So we're excited for that. 50 of those students were a part of our core program that I spoke about earlier this year. So those kids have been introduced to the game and are now continuing with our scholarship program as a part of that. In addition, we run weekly continue to play programs in youth leagues to get those kids ready for the next step of their hockey development, where we see over 500 kids every season that comes through those programs. And then this spring, something we're really excited about is our ever-growing middle school hockey program. So this is our fifth spring doing this, I should say, where this year we have grown from 10 teams to 12. 8 of them are representative of high school hockey programs here in the state. So teams like Father Ryan, NBA, Ensworth, they are represented and allow our youth hockey players to see the next step in scholastic hockey, start to get a hold of those programs, and then continue as they become seniors through high school. So something, again, we're really proud of that program. This year we sold out in 31 minutes. That is a record for most of our programs. And it is increasingly popular every year, so something we will continue to grow and develop with our G-Nash Hockey League. And then just on terms of adult hockey, we've hit a record amount of adult hockey participants. So those are adults ages 18 and over. We've seen over 1,500 play in our leagues this year. And then in addition is we have introduced women to the sport of hockey. So in this past calendar year, we have run 2 women's adult learn to play sessions. One is currently ongoing. So in total, we have introduced 80 new adults to the game and have increased the amount of participation by women in our leagues 245% this past year. So that's something, again, that we're proud about. The NHL looks to us to continue growth of women's and girls hockey programming. And in fact, we have 10 of our staff members that now can say that they're hockey players as well. So in addition, the Fordyce Centers host multiple events. We run almost 32 tournaments every weekend here. And then some of our key events have been the Smashville Women's Collegiate Hockey Showcase. So as you look around the walls of draft picks, you'll be able to see some of our memorabilia from tournaments past. So this past year, we hosted 4 NCAA programs, 2 of which went on to compete in the Frozen Four this year, and have sold over 600 tickets to local girls and women in the state. And we've introduced them to NCAA collegiate hockey right here in the home of Music City. In addition, some other great programs we've run this year is the introduction of our Smashville Safari Showdown, which was hosted at the Nashville Zoo. And the Smashville Outdoor Ice Rink was a 3-on-3 pond hockey tournament. And we celebrated all things the zoo. So our kiddos wore jerseys that represented the wildlife that is at the zoo. So you can see a blue macaw jersey, crocodiles, flamingos. So it was incredible to see those kids wear those. And our referees were actually zebras this year. So something fun, and we'll look to continue with our growing partnership with the Nashville Zoo. And then in addition, we've hosted a girls hockey tournament in February with 32 teams across the country and some in Canada that look forward to coming down here for a weekend of fun and vying for a gold record. So that's kind of all of our hockey programming. And then something that we have announced within this past month is a new partnership with Total Package Hockey. So if you look over on the rink over there, you'll see some of those kids on the ice right now through their school program. But we have announced that our Pred Select travel program that housed our single A teams have merged together with the Nashville Junior Predators. So now all of travel hockey will be under the Nashville Junior Preds banner. It is something we've been working on for the past couple of years to unify Nashville youth hockey and create a unified pathway from development at the learn to play level all the way through travel elite hockey. So everybody knows their path. They'll start as a little Pred and they'll end as a junior Pred, and hopefully one day they'll be a Nashville Predator. So this past April, we have run our first ever Nashville Junior Preds combined tryout. So there are 27 teams that will compete under the Junior Preds banner next season. And then we are also working with Total Package Hockey in a similar fashion to grow our figure skating participation here in Nashville with elite skating and learn to skate. But we'll have some more information on that to come, but we're really excited for that partnership.
Thank you. Lots of programs and lots of opportunities. Any questions? Yes.
I'm going to take a page from my friend Coach Crawford's book here, and I don't have a question. I have a comment. And it's one thing to sit here and listen to you come up here and tell us about your programs and let everybody know what's going on here. It's something entirely different to experience that. And I have experienced it. And I have two, it's a small random sampling, but it's a sampling of two. And I saw a couple of kids. Many of you may know Rashida Fatuga for her work in our community. But these two kids, one of them, my grandson's one of them. He's a 6-year-old kid with autism. And they both fell in love with hockey, coming to the games and watching the Predators play. It's one thing to sit up in the stands and see all of that going on and fall in love with hockey. And then they found out about this core program and they got involved in it. And unfortunately for us, they've created a monster in both of these because these kids now, and what I want to say is the Predators made it so easy for them to be a part of this program, to get on the ice, to receive instructions, which is very critical. I was wondering how my grandson would take to this because I didn't know if he'd like it or if it'd push him away or if he'd be able to learn how to skate. And what I've seen in the transformation in him and in Rashida's daughter is just simply amazing. And I want to say that not only do they put them through this one program and make it easy for them to do this, but they also stay with them and they transition and they make it easy for them to move to the next step and the step beyond that and the step beyond that. And what it's done in these kids' lives is you're 2 for 2 as far as I see. So I thank you for that, and it really makes a huge difference.
No, thank you. We love having him on the ice. He's been a pleasure to coach personally. I don't do it alone. I do it with a great staff, and then we have a great coaching staff who is so passionate about the game. We spend countless hours here in this building and on the ice, but we do it because we love it, and we want to give back to the game that we all grew to love and played growing up. So it is a pleasure to see our littlest ones get on the ice for the very first time and really start to love it as well. So thank you.
Director Pulley, thank you for sharing that. I've heard it over and over and over again, but you're exactly right. When you experience it, it changes everything. Any other questions or comments? Yes.
Jennifer, thank you for being here. And, I'll keep it brief, but my son is a rising junior and a scholastic hockey player at his school. And I can say that, I could gush on and on about the Predators organization and about the ice centers and about the coaches and about all of those things. It's things that I've said before, but I just want to say and recognize that to you, that it's top notch, and it's clear that it's a sign of a very healthy and vibrant organization. And so kudos to you and your team. Kudos to Sean Henry and his team. It starts at the top, and it's uniquely Nashville. And I will say this because, I was chatting with a friend of mine from Chattanooga, and I think he was originally from either Atlanta or from somewhere north of Atlanta. And, and he mentioned that he was like, well, how'd your kid get into hockey anyways? And I said, well, we live in Nashville. I mean, like, it's the Predators. It's the Predators organization, and it's unique. It's unique to a lot of markets, and so kudos to you guys. Keep doing the good work. I know you're doing fantastic work. Everything that you just said. I know you're excited about the middle school program. That's amazing. I have friends of mine that we grew up with together here in Nashville who we never would have thought in a million years our children would be playing hockey in high school or in middle school. And so with that, I just wanted to echo the things that Director Pulley said and Coach Crawford said. So thanks for everything that you're doing.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Great.
And then with that, I'll turn it over to Rebecca King.
All right. Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you all for having us. I'm proud to say I'm one of those 80 women out on the ice. I'll be back here tonight. Never played hockey, never owned the gear, but it's been a lot of fun to participate. So more to come on that. We have a quick video to play, and then I'll speak, and then we'll wrap this up. So this was a video that we created for a Monday presentation. At Bridgestone Arena, we had 190 nonprofits, and that's who's listed on this slide coming through, which equated to over 700 attendees coming to pick up a check. And we created a celebration with confetti. We had a horse, we had puppies, we had what I call the most powerful room in Nashville, because these are all the nonprofits doing the hard work each day. We sell popcorn, hot dogs, we play hockey, we get to have a lot of fun with what we do. But we also get to raise a lot of money, and so we gave out $850,000 in an hour, handing out checks one by one, and we took pictures and had just this amazing celebration. We will continue our tradition from last year with $1 Million May, so although we gave $850,000 out in one day, we still have money to give to MAC for Metro Animal Care Control. We have some funds that we had raised throughout the season for East Tennessee for the hurricane relief. We gave out college scholarships We give about $20,000 in conjunction with the fire department and then 2 of our scholarship programs. And then last month, we partnered with Inspiritus and Westminster Home Connection, and we gave them $150,000. $100,000 was for Inspiritus's new building on Rose Parks to help with senior housing, and then the $50,000 was to Westminster to help people live with dignity in their houses by doing renovations and updates to their current house. So I think in about 6 weeks' time, we'll give away about $2.5 million to Middle Tennessee. And so we're very proud. All season long, we raise money. We get to do a lot of fun things with our guys. And then come April, May, we give it away, and we get to celebrate the work going on in Nashville. This does not even include the $57,000 that Amy talked about through our Guider program. And then just an hour ago, we were with Chief Swan and Freddie O'Connell for an award that we received from the fire department. Chief Drake was there too, so we got to be recognized for our partnership with the fire department and our scholarship program. Last thing I'll end on is an exciting partnership with Every Team for Every Child. It's a foster care awareness with the city, and so Tennessee Titans, Nashville SC, the Sounds, the Preds, the Grizzlies, and some of our minor league teams around the state are banding together to create awareness for foster care. And so a release will go out shortly, but we're going to continue to grow this initiative and work together as a state to help this big problem that's happening right now. So a lot of exciting things, and we're very proud of the work that we get to do.
Great. Any questions or comments for Rebecca? As always, you come with big numbers and good news, so thank you for reporting.
Thank you. Thank you. Taking us home.
Y'all thought we were getting out for lunch? We got about 40 minutes left. So my name's Sean Henry with the Nashville Predators. Thank you for letting us host today. It's a good day. I mean, it really is. I mean, you got a chance to hear from a lot of people. But most importantly, you know who you haven't heard from yet? Lindsay Paola. Please stand up. She brought us a victory last night. Smashville has not had enough wins in the past 12 months. They had a bad year last year. We obviously did. The Titans did. They got rewarded with the first pick. We were the 5th pick. But it's fun to win again. So thank you. We're counting on you to get us in the playoffs and bring the first championship here. But you look at where we all are. We're all in a pretty good place. I mean, Taylor's pretty positive. You're hearing about a brand new stadium, art going up everywhere. I felt like art is the new expansion joint, except a lot more fun and productive. For those that get that, that was really funny. Right, Kyle? But it really is so exciting. You have new venues going up. You look at what we're doing with our venue, completely renovating it, building it out, embracing the community that we built, around it, the entertainment district. But it only happens with a good partnership. So I really just want to say thank you to all of you guys. I'd like Jad and Russ to just go up here and talk more, because I love, what you were saying. But you could say that about every single sports organization that you partner with, from the Sounds to the Titans, to obviously SC and then ourselves. But what we all do is, it would be easy just to do the same thing year in and year out. It would be really easy for us not to figure out how do we invest in our building to take it forward 20, 30, 40 more years past what most people thought the useful life of it was. It's not easy, but it's worth it. So when Kyle comes up here and talks, and great question, what are you going to do with the concerts? Well, we might lose 1 or 2, but because of what we built over the past 25, 30 years, we're going to be able to compress most of those concerts into the fall, into the spring. But even if we couldn't, and we end up losing 8 concerts or 10 concerts a year, it's going to be worth it to be able to build a brand new arena on our site with only losing 2 or 3 months a year. And you look at Madison Square Garden, did it a few years ago. The building's 70 years old, and it's as modern today as it was when it was built, if not more so. I can't stand the Cubs or the Red Sox, but look what they do with those facilities. They've invested in it, moving it forward, and that's what we're going to do at Bridgestone Arena. It's going to be so, so cool. But someone asked where we got the inspiration from what we're doing it. We stole it. We stole it from every venue in the world, going back to the Coliseum from 2,000 years ago, which pretty much functions the same way we all do now, right on to Intuit Arena, which is the brand most modern arena, newest one in the country. But what we're doing is we're trying to move things forward. Best thing about it all, not one public dollar will go into this renovation or transformation or reconstruction. It relies on all the users from within the building. We're proud of that. Back 8, 9 years ago, we took ourselves out of the general fund. A lot of people thought, what are you doing? Like, why would you do that? Well, we believed in ourselves, we believed in Nashville, we believed in this partnership to take us forward. So I just want to say thank you for all that. I also want to recognize David Poyle is here. David, stand up. David Poyle recently retired as our general manager. Fortunately for us, he's still an advisor for the organization. It's always good to have him around. He's here at Fordyce Center a little bit more often now with his favorite role, and that's his grandfather, one of the young studs that plays for the Junior Preds, his grandson, who, if you ask him, scores 12 goals a game. He's very good, but he's not that good. But how great it is to have the guy with the most wins in NHL history hanging out at Fordyce Center. On the ice right now, or maybe they just got off, I think we have 20 alumni players just out there having fun to only get on the ice again with the Junior Preds who just had tryouts for TPH. J-Bo talked about our expansion for youth hockey, what we're doing to make it bigger and better, what we're doing for figure skating. Again, it would be easy just to maintain where we are, and it'll be fine. What I love about the chairman I operate under, Tom Seagren, is fine's never good enough. It just isn't. If someone says you look fine, go put a new tie on. Fine is our enemy, and I love the fact that J-Bo and her team work really hard to make every program a little bit bigger and a little bit better. And then you round that out to Rebecca and what she just presented. When she took that job almost 20 years ago, I think we're giving away $200,000 a year, $250,000 a year, probably touching 100, 200 charities in the community. She now touches over 2,000 charities every single year. Our employees donate over 12,000 hours of community service every year. We're going to give out more than $4.5 million this year through her efforts, through her sweat and her vision. Again, if we were giving out $1 million and got involved with a few charities and lit up a TV screen once in a while, that'd be really good. It'd be fine. Fine's not good enough, Rebecca. She works really hard to make us all look better, make the community a little bit better. Jad, you know the history of this building. I'll give you all the credit because Sherry Wiener didn't show up this morning. But Sherry and yourself said, what we're doing in Antioch is great. Let's do it here. It would have been a lot easier for us to say no. Kim and I talked this morning about a complaint from a parent about what's going on with their child skating. And I thought, why would we ever do this? I don't want to hear from any more parents complaining about their child's ice time. And then you realize we do it because it's right and it's good. It's growing everything we do. And Phil Bredesen's vision of civic furniture being placed around our city for development to follow, look how well it's worked. From Nissan Stadium to the new Nissan Stadium to whatever the new bank is called for our friends at the Sounds. What is it? First Horizon. What's happened in Germantown, built around that. Obviously, what's happened around the arena, what's happened in Antioch, what's happened in Bellevue. It's incredible. So we just want to say thank you. It doesn't happen without your vision. Then rounded out, I made the joke that it's good SC's getting us back to winning because it was a weird year. We've never had a year where all three teams were a little bit out. We've never had a year where all three teams missed the playoffs. And I hope we never have a year again where all three teams miss the playoffs. It's a lot more fun when we get in the playoffs. For all of us, it's just good. It makes every day a little bit bigger, a little bit brighter, and it allows us to do a little bit more. And I just want to talk about that. Last season was not the year we thought we were going to have. We knew we'd have somewhat of a rebuilding couple of years. 2 years ago, when David Poyle in his last year as GM, working with Barry Trotz, who was coming in to replace him, they cleared the decks, if you will. Traded away some fan favorites to really restock our coverage. Let's get back some really strong prospects, multiple draft picks. And we thought that following year, we probably missed the playoffs, maybe challenge for it a little bit and slowly build back into it. Well, last year we were on an incredible run, an 18-game point streak to push us into the playoffs. And all of us forgot about the pain we thought we were going to get, and we're spoiled. And it was fun. It was good to be in the playoffs. And then this year we made the biggest splash in free agency. I don't know if ever before 240 goal scorers have been signed to one team in the same offseason. A superstar defenseman was brought in to add to a team that just made the playoffs. And if you remember, when we were having meetings in July and August and September, October last year, we were all talking about going undefeated. We were planning parades, and it was going to be great, and that's what people's expectations were. People forgot that Barry Trotz kept saying, July is fantasy hockey, but that league is going to make us play games come October, and then you never know how the team comes together. What we did last summer was good. It was smart. We didn't trade away any future prospects. This year, we have the 5th overall pick. We have 3 first-round picks, I think 10 in total this year. Those guys are going to be adding to the core that we have, and the next 4, 5, 6, 7 years for this team is going to be really, really bright. The guys we added last year are now completely gelled into the team, and I'm pretty excited about where we're going. But I'd be remiss if I didn't at least acknowledge the fact that we missed the playoffs, because when we win, I brag. When good things happen, I brag. I'm often accused of never talking about the downside. Last year was a downside, but the benefit of it is we're going to get a really great player with the 5th overall pick. 3 times in franchise history, we had a top 10 pick. This is the 3rd time, which is very bizarre when you look at what most teams go through. But what the Titans just did with their number 1 pick, what we'll do with the 5th pick, we're going to be celebrating those guys for, 5, 10, 15, 20 years. Ideally, we're hanging both their jerseys somewhere in the rafters. So we're excited about where we're going. We're excited about this partnership, and here to answer any questions or just turn the microphone over to either one of you guys. We'll just talk. I'm a little disappointed this gentleman who normally says good things, but.
Anything for Sean?
Come on, man. No, just kidding. Well, thank you. And again, I look forward to sharing more and more plans with the arena development. Kyle makes the joke, takes shots at me about the bowling alley. I said that once as a joke, and we got a lot of letters saying, please don't build a bowling alley. We don't need more of those. We're not building a 30-story bowling alley unless you convince us of it. But we're really excited about where it's going. Look forward to your input. But what you've done for us over the past 5 years, developing where we are, the new lease, enabling us to do this, and then challenging us, with our annual submissions of what we're going to do, it's really allowing us to fine-tune where it's going. But the best part about it all is we're going to have a better arena, and that's what the focus is. We'll also have some development, some fun, but it's all about making the arena a little bit better for the 5 constituents, our players, our performers, our partners, our guests, and our employees. So we're excited about it. So thank you for being in Bellevue. We'll see you, like Kyle said, June, July, August, unless you want to cancel a meeting or two, but we'll see you then.
As always, it's exciting. Lots of moving parts, Sean, but we're looking forward to a great season.
Us too. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Great report. Appreciate it. Okay, so are there any facility questions for partners who have not spoken today? If not, this concludes our agenda. Again, we want to thank the Nashville Predators and Fort Ice at Bellevue for hosting us this morning. Our next meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, June 18th. I'll say it again, Wednesday.
Will it be the same time?
June 18th. Yes, it'll probably be the same time, 10:30. Metro offices will be closed on Thursday in honor of Juneteenth, so we'll move our meeting up one day. And we will meet at Bridgestone Arena. So you'll receive that information. Any questions? Any announcements? If not, I will entertain a motion to adjourn. All right, consider yourselves adjourned. Thank you all for being here.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information on this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.